It is down, so it shouldn't be.
We alive.
It's a live button.
We back. 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 We back.
It should pop up over here. If not, I want to thank you, should have showed, right?
Oh, this is a doula podcast. Yes.
It is. I am a doula. I'm a doula. I'm a CHW. I'm a mama and a sister too. I'm a no. Hey y'all. Hey. Hello. Welcome to the second session. Is it live?
It won't show up on mine. I don't know if it's just me or not. But like when I search it, it says like.
Okay, great. That's
Okay.
right. Yep. There we are. All right. Hello to the world of internet. This is our second session. So if you joined us previously, we have a new group with us. We are coming live. If you have not joined us, we're coming live here from the CHW Summit. Shout out to the coalition, the CHW Coalition. So for those who don't know me, my name is Vanna, but I go by Vanna, the host of the Hood Talks podcast. We are a community podcast that is out here serving the Black community, making sure we have the tough conversations, the needed conversations, and also being a resource to our community. That's me. My co-host Shante Love is here with me today too. Shout out to her. Woo-woo. That's the quiet shit.
I know, that's why I'm trying to, because I ran out of water, I'm trying to collect myself. So, yes, Shavana brought me on lovely to help host season 4 of the Hood Talks, woo-woo. Just to help come bring just additional sister insight. I'm also CHW and a doula. And the space that Vanna holds and the talks that we have are heavy, but they're definitely necessary because if we're not talking about it, we're not healing, and we're not working towards it. And my funny demeanor sometimes brings that lightheartedness a little bit because it could be a lot. And we don't want to ever leave the space too heavy. Just enough with information to also be inspiring and helpful when you leave. So
yes,
that's me.
Yep. So that is us, but we're here to talk to you all. Yes, I love it. So first, here's our icebreaker. This is the question that we're asking you. When you hear CHW, what does it mean to you? And everybody in here is gonna answer.
Yeah.
Okay. And we're gonna start here in the front. I'm not gonna do you like that.
Start in the back.
I'm gonna start in the back. Go ahead.
When I hear CHW, what it means to me, personally, I will say it means a connector, a connected person, a person who may have been through things that you've been through, whether it's personal, family, friends, who can connect with you where you are and also help you resourceful to where you're going.
Okay, connector. Yeah, that's 2 times. We heard that earlier, and I agree with you. Yes, ma'am.
Hello, Vanna. When I first heard CHW, I thought it meant Christian Hospital West.
Christian hospital. Wait, is there a Christian hospital west?
I don't know.
Yeah, you built a whole new hospital?
It used to be a long time ago. Yes.
Oh, really?
I'm that old. She went way back. I ain't right there. So what is
I was like, Christian, you got me thinking.
That's what I admitted when I actually found out. I said, okay, that's what they do. You're working with the community. You're bringing community help to the community. You're going out, you're outreaching, finding out what they need,
Outreach.
how you can help them.
Love
When
that.
I think of CHW, I think of outreach.
Okay. All right, sir.
What it means to me, I will speak of in capacity of how I work and just connecting people back to the community from which they were separated from. So particularly I work with a reentry program, the Relink. So the name of it says it all. Relinking those people back into.
Relink.
Is relinker a word? I'm about to make it a word, doesn't it? I got the marker.
Ain't nobody gonna take you to jail for that. Well, he sat down. You sat down. Go ahead, sir. Tell us. And then I
You hear CHW.
I appreciate you for coming into the space.
Community health worker is, to me, you work in your community, and it's the health side of it. We have so many different things in our community that are not working right, when we can service somebody and help them, that would be great.
That's a good one. Service, community. Yes, ma'am, I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem. Since he jumped in, that's all right. But he didn't get a little cheat, that's okay. It's okay, because you didn't use what I was gonna say, so. I was gonna say, we bridge the gap as a community health worker. We bridge the gap between our community and the health services and other resources that our community may be in lack of.
I love that. Bridge the gap, and I also think a gap filler. We're filling those gaps too. Yeah. Yes.
So I would say, providing resources. I work in pediatrics, and we have foster parents who come in, and the kids have other issues. We can link them up with Hopewell or, their behavioral health, just link them up to different resources.
Yes. Come on, Lucy.
I would say reaching back. So we gain the knowledge as community health workers, and then we reach back and pull from that.
Reaching back. Yes, ma'am.
For me, I like, and what kind of generally, for me, it would be like a community health worker, someone that is striving for health equity. And I really feel that because it could mean so many different types of healthcare services, from like prenatal to, whatever anyone needs. And I also feel like a community health worker, someone that is trusted within the community, and that means that you've like built a rapport. So people know you, you're not just someone randomly, advertising something, right?
Health equity, trusted. Spelled it right. You getting better.
I am.
Trusted. I like that one too. Trusted.
Okay.
Okay, great. I'm sorry. My bad. You got another word for us, or you want to use the word you used last time? It don't matter.
It's the same one.
Go ahead, girl.
We are the resource manual.
Yes. We are the resource manual. Yes. I'm coming here with you with that Black Babies Matter t-shirt.
Hey,
Shout out to my Generate Health fam. Yes, you better, girl.
I don't know, community health worker to me is like someone with empathy and can treat somebody with empathy and really like listen to people and show up for people and understand where they're coming from.
Empathy. We ain't got enough of that going around in this world today. That's one I say that we lack and we need more of. Shout out to you for that one.
What I think of is an agitator of systems. So making systems work for the people that we're serving.
That's that word again. Systems.
The agitator of systems.
Yes. I like the agitator. Do your best.
You know it. Hell, not what my degree is in.
Oh Lord, we done talked about
Agitator of services. Systems.
Yes, we
I'll look
agitated.
it up on Google in a minute.
We agitated these systems.
Like your Shante, okay.
Yes, you can have a public education to do things like this as well. Hey, we done talk podcast. We're gonna have fun up in here, okay? We're gonna have fun. Look at you. You did it right.
I've got an A. That's about it. All right, keep going.
All right. Come on, sir. Tell us.
I think of an advocate for community needs.
I'm sorry. She probably mad at me now that I didn't start with her. I am so sorry, love.
He's an advocate.
I was like, I hope they make it up here. And it was my fault. It was, I'm sorry. I was trying to be nice. It's what I'm thinking now. You got this. You got this. And it took a while for us to get there. I love that though. I love that.
I was proud of y'all too. I'm like, nobody said, I'm cool.
Advocate. Okay. That's a repeated word too, ain't it? Advocate. Okay, love.
Oh my God, there's so many words already. I think the thing that comes to mind for me when I think of CHWs is collectivism. It's a really
That's a big one. We
takes
heard that
a
one.
resilient person to be a CHW, and the work is really hard. And I'm not a CHW, but seeing my people out and doing the work, they're just really resilient.
and I appreciate them.
Resilient.
Resilient.
I like that resilient.
Hey. Come on down on the words.
I love it though. And you say I am not a CHW, but you've noticed that the work that CHW's put into the space. So shout out to that, right? Yes, we need to be seen. Because this work is important.
So they can also connect people to the CHW.
Because
You might not have to be one. You might not be the resource, but you got Rolodex.
What you said. You connected to the resource.
There we go.
Because why? They should know it.
Yeah.
Hey. Plug it.
Okay. What do you think of when you hear, what does it mean to you when you hear CHW?
Well, to me, CHW, basically, we are sympathize with the people who need help. And then we eliminate barriers for that.
Eliminate the barriers. That's important. That is important.
Collaboration.
Woo! And she got one of the words that we have not heard yet. And that is important. Can you make that big and say, please? Because we don't know how to do that. But yes, that is the word of the day. Collaboration. Oh, I felt that. Put it in the room. We need that in the space. You have a great word.
I love the dog.
Yes, we take that on and beyond. All right, sir.
Let's go right.
All right.
Say our own.
You got it.
I had to write mine down so I wouldn't forget it. But, and Caleb stole mine. But, I said a person who shows humility and does not mind going beyond their scope of practice to serve the community.
Humility. I like that.
Right, that's all I can.
Humility. I like humility. I do agree that a lot of times CHWs have to step outside of their scope of work. And now sometimes it's like, is it clear what our scope of work is? Because we can do so many things.
We work in the gray.
We work in the gray. I like that. We work in the, because that's important though. Because what we have to get out of this system is that, unfortunately, everything's supposed to be black and white. And that's technically not how everything operates.
That's right.
So we need to be in the gray.
And what happens with the black and the white? It turns gray.
It turns gray, yeah. So we need those people that work in the gray. And that is what CHW means. So shout out to y'all. We just wanted to put that in the space because not only do we know that a lot of people don't know about CHWs, right? But even when you talk about, like you said, what is the CHW? What do they do? Who are they? What does that mean?
Case manager. Like, before you just a case manager, I'm like, you can't take that from me. I'm gonna sit at a desk and I'm gonna push paper all day.
Like we are literally foot on the ground.
That's right. Say that.
We do. What do we do?
We want to be
Supposed to be outside. We are.
Because that's where the community is.
Right. It makes it a job, and a lot of times we have to be.
Hold on, y'all. Hold on. One at a time.
Hey!
Hold on. Because we want everybody to be able to be heard. And so everybody can hear. I'm going to go with you, and then I got you in the green, okay? Go ahead.
I'm just saying, a lot of jobs that hire community health workers, they don't know what community health workers is.
Mm.
So when you stress, it's outreach. People are not gonna come here to us and ask us for help. We have to go to them and see what they need. So it is an outreach job position. We should be outside.
We should be outside. And you can't tell me what outside looks like because outside might be different for every community.
It's totally different.
I'm coming. Let me get her in the green.
And I was gonna say, we have to meet our community where they are.
Yes.
And I mean, they're not always in our four walls,
Mhm.
but in order to bring them into our four walls, we have to go out to them.
Yes, I agree with you on that.
I do both. I do boots on the ground work, and I'm also in the computer, like in the room, in the office, doing work on the computer. So I appreciate both sides of it, because you do have to be out in the community to help the community, but you also want people in those spaces too that's for the community as well. Because if we all outside in the community, but then people go into these places for services, but we out in the community, then they don't have nobody there to be that extra layer for them. So I'm like, we do the boots on the ground, but we are also
in the system. Like,
Both are important because you're collecting data. You can't change the system if you ain't in it.
It goes back to collaboration, right? And CHW, we go back to multifaceted, right? But knowing your lane, it's okay to be in your lane. Because what you just said, yes, I appreciate being able to be boots on the ground, but I like to be in the systems. And that is important because if we're not in those seats in the system, trying to make sure that the system is doing what the community needs, it doesn't get changed. And then we get CHWs that get burnt out because they're fighting against the grain, right? We do need those folks. And on every level.
Breaking down the barriers.
Breaking down the barriers.
And
Yes.
that's where you come in play to talking with your employer about what all the coalition does. Because if they don't know, all right, let me go ahead and give you the CEO, the director's information. Let's set up a meeting. Because I actually just saw an email about an organization reaching out. I was like, hey, we're looking to do and hire CHW, but we want to be more informed about it. There are organizations that are and do want to utilize us properly. But we also have to speak up. So we also have to realize that, hey, I am more than what you're just trying to do or give to me. So let me help you out.
Yes. Yeah.
Balance.
It is a balance. It is a balance.
I don't mind being behind the desk sometimes. Sometimes.
But that's okay.
Know your lane, know your strength.
She said, look, and that's what I'm saying. Like, so even if you, so for instance, right, you may be like, you know what, I can't make it to this event, right? Hey, guess what? They have this event going on. Do you mind showing up there and reporting back to me what happened in that space so that I can come back to this space and say, hey, this is what happened. This is why we need to be there.
But there's also so many different varieties of what a community health worker is, and like depending on what organization you work for, that could put you in a different seat. So in a previous position I was in, it caused me to be out in the community way more, which I still love. So I do it on my own in my new position now because I just loved it from doing it there. But in my position I have now, it's an outpatient, and all I have to do is be on the phone or virtual or whatever. And if I do meet them in person, it's only as needed if I need to drop off something to them for the baby or for them or whatever the situation may be. But I'm not always directly patient facing. But we still do so much work with them and make so much impact. I know one of my coworkers, she knows a lot. She does a lot with the families right from where she is behind the computer. And I'm like, just seeing her and seeing that and then knowing all the impact that I have made in the community just by being in the community. I'm like, wow, I never thought about it that way. Like, you know, we all can't really be boots on the ground. Like, we need other people to do other things.
We do.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to say here is working as a team, right? Because just because you are sitting in the space, that also means there's a lot of people who don't know about you. Mm-hmm. You only know the family that you're taking care of. But there's a lot of people who don't have those resources that you have to offer, right? So when you have people who say, I like to be outside, we need them as well. So what these organizations need to do is know that it's not just one way for CHWs. They need to know that it's a multiple way for CHWs. There's the CHWs that you need on the outside that's connecting with the community, because that's important. If I don't know about your services, baby, I ain't coming. Right. How do I know? So then you have the people who can provide the service and focus on getting the resources to their family. But you need both. And CHWs fill those spaces because we're multifaceted. So we're saying to these people who are listening, to these organizations, to these businesses, it's not one way.
Right.
It's more than one way. Go ahead.
And I will say for me, I've done boots on the ground and I've done the office work. And it all collectively worked together because at one point I was speaking in a room full of people who get $10,000 worth of grants. But because I knew the details behind what they needed while I was in the office, the Medicaid, the everything like that, I can speak from not only what I've seen out there, but what I'm seeing data-wise. So it also works together. Because I can tell you, I know for a fact this is true because I'm collecting this data.
Data collector. I don't think that's talked about enough either as a CHW.
Well, and this conversation just leads me back to CHWs are supposed to focus on their strengths, right? And you use your strength to find your specialty when you're doing community health work. Some people's specialty is in the outreach piece of it. Some people's specialty is in the desk piece of it and creating those relationships and breaking down systems. But you have to focus on what your specialty is and then collaborate with the rest of the team. It can't, like Savannah said, it can't just be one way. It can't just be one way. And that's why teams are so important. And understanding that, community health workers, there's different boots for different grounds. I really like that, actually.
Ooh, what you said.
We gotta make sure we come together. We already know what we do. We don't need to separate what we do because they already separate. We're trying to what? Be the connector.
Yes, and we have to work collectively to do that. Yes.
Just to piggyback off what Kayla said, I feel like working as a team like that with your strengths is what brings you to creative solutions. Instead of when it's so natural to hit these barriers and feel defeated sometimes, on where can I go from here? But remembering what everyone brings to the table and being creative, finding that creative solution, I feel like that's also a huge strength of CHWs as a collective.
Creativity, that wasn't a word that we had heard, but I appreciate that. Because that's where I sit at in my space.
Sorry.
I think you have to be creative and you have to be flexible. You have to be adaptable being a CHW.
Y'all has a lot of words on her. Dang. Flexible.
Adaptable.
Adaptable.
You have to be all of those things, I think, working in this space as a CHW.
And if you can't learn from your fellow CHW, I think what I love about CHWs in the community is that there is no superiority when it comes to it, because we're all for the common goal and we don't want to be the best at something, because we can't be the best at it, because if that's the case, we all be rich handing out money and there wouldn't be no community health workers, we wouldn't have no problems. We'd be able to handle all this. But I think that's what it is like, because there's no like, oh well, she do this and I can't talk. Like, no, it's all one family. And if I had to pick a family, I'll pick some of y'all, I'm not gonna lie. So like, I'm glad that it's happening like this, and then we have this space like this, because when we can come together like that, then there's no, we can bring so much more from the people that we reach, so. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Can I add one more thing? I wanted to add experts, educated, because I feel like CHWs, like the knowledge that CHWs bring to different institutions is very valuable. And I feel like those institutions devalue like the amount of knowledge that CHWs bring to the space.
Yes.
And then that goes into the whole conversation between lived experience and versus like a degree, and what the balance is with that. And lived experience sometimes overweighs.
Baby,
It trumps.
that's the only Trump I like.
Now she's gonna get us shut down.
I know.
But it trumps the book smarts.
And then the knowledge
Because you
that-
can't even relate.
Right.
It's the relatability, right?
Right.
And I think that's what misses when you sit in a book and you learn.
Yeah.
And I'm biased because, I ain't got my 4 college degrees and all that, But I'm biased with that because I also think that you learn the way that they want you to learn. And then that sometimes take away from the lived experience, right? So.
But like Caleb said in the last class, he would rather have somebody that has the experience than somebody that has the book. Because they know where you're coming from.
But they don't pay us like that, though.
Right.
They don't pay us like that. They don't
They
pay
don't pay us like that.
They gonna pick the CHW with the degree.
You think that
I know
and she said, I know, that's what's happening, is they're gonna pick the folks who have the degrees versus the folks who have
Or
the
if they do,
experience.
like if you do get the job as a community health worker without the degree, most of the time it's like entry level and you have to take what you can get and try to rise up in the company to get what you're looking for.
The coalition is making steps. There are so many movements in Jeff City and stuff like that. So there are things happening to see the fact that you are valued no matter if you have your doctorate and you're a CHW or not. So I think that goes back to when we talked about how companies aren't valuing like the fact that you know what you bring.
Yeah.
I buy deuces, that's fine.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna go somewhere where I know I'm valued and I know no matter how many extra alphabet I got on my name, that my experience and what I have to bring is still top notch or just as important.
And I would say the stuff that you learn in the class alone, so the certification to me is definitely worth it. It is. It's definitely worth it.
Especially with Miss Ginger.
I'm biased. Okay, what she said. She was not first session. She was she's the GOAT. I'm gonna go here, then I got you.
I was gonna say, I gotta just keep praying on it. I have an interview. But my lived experience is
from the previous work that other CHWs done for the job. So they're interviewing me based off what other community health workers have done. So we are making a difference.
And setting the tone too.
We are making a difference.
And setting the tone, I like that.
This conversation just led me back to what I said earlier. We are agitators of systems, right? We're pushing for equity, which means equity in pay for us as community health workers as well, seeing that lived experience is just as important, if not more important, to the work that we do in education. And that's something that we're really pushing for at IHN, actually. That's the work that we're doing right now.
Because it's highly coveted in all of these places are wanting CHWs to connect them to community, but you're not gonna pay them what they're worth.
Exactly.
Because there's even other,
Well,
there's even other states after this. What we're doing now at this summit and the research that's being taken from here is being put together to show other states. Like Missouri, we are setting a precedent up in this thing. Like, so it's being seen. It's taking a little minute, but y'all, it's happening.
Well, we know Missouri, we know we up against, right? So we get out and vote, right? Right. Okay.
I almost said something. I forgot to say.
She's trying to get me shut down.
I was gonna say, I'm gonna lose my job since I work for the coalition. Yeah, right. I work for the coalition, so it's
I know, we ain't paying that much.
enough. I love being here. Good talk.
We love it because it's real.
Real raw.
You gotta love it to be up there. Describe the impact you make as a CHW. Moving us into the next question.
I'll say my impact would be the fact that I'm approachable. I find that people that I interact with, they look for me a lot of times. It's like, hey, if they don't see me for a while and I pop out, they're like, okay, where you been? I need to talk to you because I need this, that, and the other, and I'm trying to do this, and it's like, oh, okay, I'm sorry. They got me back in the fishbowl. I'm sorry.
But you see that though? You made people feel good enough to come to you.
Yeah.
That is CHW.
That's trust.
And that's trust.
Building that trust.
Yeah. You ain't even gotta ask me what I want. At this point now I know what I'm coming to.
Yeah.
Hey girl, I need this, this, this. Where can I get this at? Oh, I'm looking for this.
I get a phone call. Zena, somebody up here looking for you. What you doing?
What they got on? Because if it's a button up and a tie, no, they looking for me to serve the process. No, you gotta.
Right. Like, okay, I'll be up there in a second. So that's something. And then I think with the history that I've built with being at the company for 10 years, and then changing from the position that I was in, which I was in an assistant to one of the executives, and then coming downstairs to work closer with the people that we're actually serving. So I kind of, know some of the back doors to some of the things that they're needing and trying to get hold to.
You're someone who can bridge the gap. You've been on both sides.
Exactly.
That's what's up.
Yeah. Anybody?
I would say my superpower is being relatable. Like a lot of people, when they go to healthcare facilities, they're looking for somebody with this white coat on, buttoned up, and then when I come out talking ebonics and things like that, they're like, oh, okay, cool. I'll tell my business.
Exactly. That's one thing. I mean, if I can't talk to you, if I feel like I can't talk to you, then I'm not going to. And I'm not going to ask you for help. I'm not going to listen to what you have to say. There's no connection.
I'm not going to let you in.
I'm not going to let you in and then let you know what I need.
Yeah. Yeah.
You'll need my representative.
That part.
But also too, one thing that I talk, not only advocating, but helping our community help advocate for themselves. Because even if you don't look like me, you still deserve and should be telling folks what you need, right? You should be. You should be able to say, I need this. And if they're not doing it the way that they should be doing it, that's education. So being very much an educator, we put that up there, right? I'm gonna educate you on what you need to know. So when you're navigating someone else, because I might not always be there, because we ain't talking about self-care for CHWs, but I might not always be there. Right. So you need to have the tools so that you can speak up, because it's not to be dependent on me, right? It's not that you have to need me, right? It's me helping you be able to take care and advocate for yourself so that you can get what you need regardless if I'm here or not.
Yeah,
So that's the big
confidence,
part.
that trust.
Yeah, that's a big part of it, I think, as well, when we talk about the work that we do. We learn that for ourselves as CHWs. So then we, you know, not only do we teach it, but we, what do we call it? We do it. So
We
we model it. Yeah, it's our behavior, how we operate.
You was looking at me like I was supposed to read your mind. I was like, what you trying to say?
No, I mean,
we've been working together for a while and we cool. I'm like, I can't think what you're saying right now.
I thought you said something. So I was like, what? You heard my word? I thought you was reading. So
It was almost something that I feel like it wasn't. We'll work on it next time. We almost got each other.
This is our first time doing it together in person, so.
Yeah, it is. Usually I just keep my nonsense in a computer at home.
I would say mentorship. And
That's a
that
big one.
capacity sometimes, yeah, I'm on another question.
Sorry, but that's
So-
not important.
Yeah, on this place, I ain't writing no more.
But providing mentorship with some of the guys that we deal with, they went in without a certain level of self-esteem or knowledge of self. And where they were at, they definitely didn't get it. So coming out, guess what? You're still dealing with somebody that's in a process that they were when they got incarcerated. So if they got locked up at 18, be 10 years, they 28, they still 18.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, so sometimes you have to speak to them in a certain way. Listen to what they, you know, their areas and what they have, and they're looking to you to help them because that's why they reached out to you. You know, so this ties in with the value that we really do serve because you gotta have strength. Because if you got a caseload with 25 people, that's 25 different problems outside of your own. Let's say you got 2 kids at the house. That's 27.
In a bait.
You know,
Right,
you got that's about 50. That's about 50. But you know,
He really tried to add on with his spouse.
He did.
you gotta have some strength to be heard, and that's something that, you know, you really can't put a price on it.
You
So
can't put a
to
price on it.
minimize it to just probably a fulfillment of a contract is like trash. You know, so it's some value there, especially when
There's a lot of
we talk
value
about
there.
the lived experience. When we was just doing the event, the guy said that he wasn't sure if he wanted to go back to school because he didn't want that degree to overshadow his experience. Because that's how he was able to do his work. He said it wasn't a schooling, it was my experience.
What you said, because baby, when I said I was like CHW class, this is it. After I took that class, I was thinking that too. Because sometimes you get in those rooms with the systems and they speak in a certain language and you be like, what?
But see, the funny thing about it is that he had already a certain level of degree, so he was able to look at both sides of it.
I ain't got no
And he
level.
chose the experience. He didn't choose the degree.
But that's valuable. And I think what I'm saying, how I'm trying to operate, because you get, and let's keep it really wild, because that's what we do on the Hood Talks podcast. Sometimes you get in those rooms and you get in those spaces and you sometimes hear how they're speaking. You can't truly understand what they're saying. So then it's like, well, maybe I need to go back to school to learn how to talk to them. But
you don't need school for that.
I'm just saying, hold up, I got you. Let me get there. But also, at the end of the day, when you do, it goes back to what I said at first. When you get to learning some of that stuff, it takes from your lived experience because now you begin to try to operate like they do.
Yeah.
And so for me to stand, and so when I was like, I'm taking the CHW, that was enough. I ain't going back. And I'm standing 10 toes because my experience is enough.
Yep.
I don't have to speak your language. The problem is you should be speaking our language.
There we go.
So you might need to go back to school and figure it out again.
Well, baby, I'll ask in a hot meeting.
In what you learn. And you continue to learn and you continue to add to what you learned. So you became a professional in what you learned.
Yeah.
And you continue to better yourself, and better yourself, and better yourself. So when you decide you're gonna take a class and you see yourself then moving you away from that, you're like, wait a minute, I've invested 20 years into this. So you're telling me that this 2-year degree is going to outweigh this 20 years. So you're weighing that. And when you look at it, it does not weigh out.
It does not.
collectively, you have invested 20 years of your life into what you have learned, and you have perfected it.
And the more of us in that space, the more of that shows, because I think a lot of us, I think we talked about it, I diverted out of the entire thing that I was going to. I was going to school and everything. And, you know, my lived experience with suicide and postpartum and things like that led me to become a doula, a CHW, a suicide crisis specialist. Baby, ain't nobody finna get no money from me. Like, baby, you could take this as it is because I know.
Yeah, because I am the community that I serve. Yeah. So I know who I'm serving. I know the experience. I serve the people like me. I've been on Medicaid. I've sat on them long phone calls and then people hang up on you and got frustrated. You feel me? I done went to the office and then people got attitudes and you just like, dang, I didn't make you be here today. Like, why you mad at me? I'm just trying to get my food stuff to feed my people. Like, what's going on? Like, I've had that experience. So I can go to you and tell you your system does not work. Because I've tried it. It's harmful. I've been to the doctors. I've seen how they looked at me and talked to me. So I have that experience. But I as much as I know that the lived experience is very much needed to say, I sometimes hate it because we get these, what do we call it? We get these.
I know, right? She's really trying to make sure she don't get blocked. I can see it.
We get these buzzwords.
Yep.
Right? That they love to say, like, oh Lord, the woke culture. Don't even get me started on that one. And they twist it. And then it doesn't become as valuable as it should be because they're twisting what it really means. Or they also are, what do we call it? Tokenizing it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I have lived experience sitting at my table. So I lived experience. Can you tell me what should I be doing? I am not the only one for everybody. I am one of a community.
Yeah.
I am not the entire community. So you just don't come to me think you finna get the whole community.
Because I'm in charge. I'm invoicing.
But at the same time, I feel like you have to go back to what Kayla said was like focus on your why and what's for you, because I felt that 1,000%, like, oh, I'm not going back. I got experience. I know how to do this. I know, but when there's higher up people who run these organizations who care about those credentials and things like that, then some of us have to go back and redirect and say, hey, what's my focus, what I'm trying to do? Because without that, a lot of times you can reach a cap in this industry where you can't go further. You can't reach your dreams because you don't have that. And then it's like, dang, did I waste my time trying to grow in this, but I can't really grow because I don't have that? And then some of us have to go back and think like, okay, well, do I want to go back to school and things like that? Because maybe that's something that I need to do. Dr. Bethany Johnson, during her talk downstairs, she said, it's not being fake, it's being strategic. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I know me. I know what my lived experience make me, and it's not going to change. And just because I learned the verbiage in there, you know what I'm saying, or be able to sit at these tables and communicate in a certain type of way, it don't make me a changed person, but I can use that strategically with a degree and things like that once I earn one day to be able to level up my community, because that's my goal.
And there's so many people in those spaces, and that's where it goes back to my why and who you are as an individual, and that's perfect because there's not one way to be a CHW.
And that's why I want to say, making sure confidence. Yes. What works for me might not work for you, and that's okay. But I have to be confident to know that I can walk in this room and I don't care what language you speak.
Yeah.
My language is good enough.
Yeah.
You know, and if I do learn your language, great.
Yeah.
I learned it, and that's great. You can walk in, I know their language. That doesn't mean I don't care about my people.
Yeah.
You feel me? So and it goes back to collaboration because we're a multifaceted people. Where community health work is multifaceted. There is no one way.
Yeah.
There is no one way. And we want the system to understand that. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, the game is chess. So, you know, like you said, it's strategic. So to answer the question on the impact that I make, is speaking to power because of my experience. Part of my lived experience is the channel of education. So I had I grew up in a neighborhood, but I was the one in the family that had to go to the magnet school. So this, I didn't have the Black experience, I had the mixed experience. So I didn't have the same fear of speaking of power
that comes with our community sometimes. So you have to, you know, I'll use gang culture as an example. If they knew back in the 90s that they needed to send people to school to have people in strategic places, once, you know, you get there, you need some lawyers, you need some judges, you need, you know, we can't all just rock off lived experience, you know. Some of us have to have been there, and then you get your wake up call, you know, along the way as you're struggling with that lived experience that comes with it, and it met together, and it was called like a breakdown, and then it was like, move to St. Louis, and now like, oh, I needed to have become a community health worker, because all this time that I was in this education world doing these things that weren't, you know, the teacher wasn't supposed to do. It's like I'm actually being a community health worker. I just needed that verbiage that came from this, you know, to put it together to be able to do those things. So my impact is never, like, I've always been the one to speak up and say the things that other people were thinking and saying and muttering together, but I say it, you know, I got in trouble for it, got suspended for it, but, you know, as an adult, it's like, oh, I was just preparing myself for speaking of power.
Yes. And I just want to emphasize what you make. This is about individualism. Not individualism in the sense of like we're only thinking about ourselves. It's about how I can show up and make impact for my community. Right. We all have a play in this, right? And like I agree with what you're saying. I'll be like, where they at? How do we inspire our children to be more of those doctors, more of those lawyers, more of those judges? Because we need those in those spaces, more of the politicians. I say we need to stop going for each other's seats, and we need to, there's so many seats that we can get to fill. There's so many seats we need to be filling, right? So how do we do that? It's about what you can bring to the space and what impact you can make as a CHW. Take that from this room. What are you taking from today? This space, the session, this space in here, the summit. What are you taking away when you leave here today? That's the last question. We'll take a couple.
Maybe shout out, maybe one word, just shout out.
Yeah, shout out, one word.
One word, be the best.
Okay. Be the best.
Collaboration.
There we go.
Don't use a word. You're gonna take not up on the board.
You said inspiration. Inspiration. Value. Confirmation. Ooh.
Kind of just reaffirming something my boss said. She calls CHWs professional homies.
Professional homies.
I'm about to put that on a shirt.
Tell Latrice we take it.
Professional homies. I love it. Variety. I love that because there's a variety of us. Yes.
I'm taking support and confidence from today.
Support and confidence?
Just definitely the family. I like confidence. This is a family reunion for me. For some family I didn't know.
It's a family reunion.
I heard that.
Who you? No. Anybody else want a word that's taken away from today?
For taking away, be you.
Baby,
Yes.
be you.
Because that's the whole point of it.
I'm taking that away too.
The whole point.
Because it gets challenging sometimes. Ooh. I love to keep it real and raw. If you don't know nothing about Savannah, baby, she's real and raw. And sometimes too transparent. But I agree with you. Because it gets tough. I'm not going to sit here and act, I can't sit here and act like everything is always great. And this work is hard. But be you. Because that's how you're going to make impact.
Yeah. She's living proof because the Hood Talks podcast is our favorite podcast. You better know it.
Hey. Yes. And thank you all for those who tuned in, and thank you all for joining us in this conversation. We appreciate you. We hope you follow the Hood Talks podcast. Stay in touch with us. We got an event. Yes, we have an event tomorrow. We're having another live podcast panel conversation. We're talking about how the school system is still failing Black children. Got mocktails, light refreshments, connecting, networking. So just come join us, Delmar Divine from 2 to 4 p.m.
Totally free.
Yes. All our events for the most part.
Okay. Also, I know that we weren't having sneaker ball, but some of y'all still got some fancy duds waiting. So tomorrow is the St. Louis Arts and Entertainment Awards. It is celebrating all of the best that St. Louis has to offer where it comes to dancing, music, and all this stuff. The Hood Talks podcast was voted favorite podcast of the year. Okay. Your girl Shante Love was voted for favorite female kind of the year. So I can shoot y'all the link if you want for tickets. So that is tomorrow night. Oh yeah, it'll be an email. So it's tomorrow night. Red carpet is at 5. The show starts at 6.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
look at my hey,
Just a little bit.
There are snacks and a raffle happening upstairs on the 4th floor, and all of the events that they just shared are gonna come up.